Welcome to this edition of Rock Satellite TV's A Conversation with America. We're going to continue our conversation today with average Americans. We have with us John, who is a computer consultant. We have Dick, who is a insurance salesman, a retired insurance person. And we have Daniel Messiah, the unique Daniel Messiah, who was born and raised in Egypt as a Muslim. He grew up as a Muslim, grew up in a Muslim family. As a young man, Daniel accepted Jesus Christ as his Savior and converted to Christianity. We have a tough topic that we're going to talk about today, and that is the refugee issue. Thousands, no, actually millions of people have left the Muslim countries and moved into Europe. And now in the United States, we are facing that same situation where thousands of Muslims are coming to this country. Daniel, can you tell us why so many people are fleeing the Muslim countries in the Middle East? Would you define America as a Christian nation?
And so that's how, as I grew as a Christian, realized how important a country like America to have the freedoms.
America is a land of opportunity where so many people have come to this country seeking that chance to change, to have something better for themselves.
The dream of everyone in the Middle East, and I believe maybe in the rest of the world, to come to America. Where is America going?
God is the kind of God that wants to be in your life all the time.
The cross is the place where all the world
is the crucifixion of Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Right? Jesus Christ paid the price for our sins.
Because we can't do it.
Because we can't do it.
Because we can't do it. Exactly right.
You know, Islam does not work. Islam is falling down. You know, Muslims are thinking, is Islam? You know, under Islam, Muslim killing Muslim, they torture each other in the name of Allah, and it does not make sense for many people in Middle East, and they start fleeing. And also, you know, the destruction has been done by ISIS, you know, in Syria, in Iraq, and many countries, you know, making people to flee, you know, and I think that's a good news.
It's good news.
It's bad news and good news.
Okay.
The bad news is innocent people has been killed.
Right.
And they left their homes and families, and, you know, it's really terrible stuff happening there. But at the same time, good news that they can come to a country like America, and they can seek refugees, and they can be protected. They can learn a new culture. It's a hope, a big hope here in America. And by the way, there is a saying in all Middle Eastern countries saying, you know, if everything went wrong, go to America.
Go to America, huh?
You know, America is the land of the dreams and the hope. And I believe it's time for the gospel, to share the gospel with those refugees.
Dick, what effect is that having on life here in America, on our culture?
Well, I guess I speak for myself personally.
Please do.
I have a little different take than Daniel on it. I have a real concern that I do not see the assimilation, in my view, of the Muslim coming here. I watch it in England and other places where they kind of, to me, it seems like they build a block and then they begin the Sharia Law and some things that are that they wish to have implanted. In the old days, we're all refugees to this country. But when the people came here, they were very glad to be here, and they began the assimilation process. I do not see that. Or don't feel it. Maybe that's a better way to put it. I don't have a feel for the.
You don't feel that they are assimilating to this country. Mm-hmm. John, are they assimilating?
When I was young, I used to love to find the paper dolls inside McCall's magazines. And one day I was pondering the Galatians 5:22 and 23 verses about the different fruits of the Spirit, and I decided to put together a series of paper doll books for each of the fruits. And I began with love. Anna Maria is the first doll, and she is matched with a rose as a symbol of love. I hope young children and women my age will enjoy the resurrected craft of paper dolls. Anna Maria Fruit of the Spirit paper doll can be purchased on Amazon.com, CinderellaFactory.com, or at your favorite bookstore.
Well, I can't say I know that personally that they're assimilating, but I have similar fears to Dick, and that is that what I see and what we're seeing, at least on media, is that there's more of a tendency of keeping the Muslim religion at their center and the desire to adopt Sharia law here. I mean, I see that in articles all the time about certain cities or states where they're trying to get Sharia law imposed on common disputes even. And we're even hearing of things like honor killings of daughters for, basically wanting to become Christian, or other issues like dating American boys or somebody that's not Muslim. So from my standpoint, I have concern, and I think that we have a process for becoming a citizen of this country, and that all should go through that process. If they're not an American citizen, that they should go through that process and do it legally.
Daniel, you said earlier that they were fleeing the Muslim countries in the Middle East because Islam is not working.
Right.
Okay? And yet, going back to what both Dick and John have talked about, is that they're bringing that culture here. They're bringing Islam with them. They're bringing Sharia law with them, and many of these people are. Not everybody, but a lot of them.
Right.
Okay? And it seems like almost a large percentage of them. Isn't that counterintuitive to what you were saying?
I believe Muslims leader, they have agenda in their mind. When the refugees come here, they wanted, of course, infiltrate every level with Islam. Mm-hmm. They wanted to infiltrate our school, which they did. They have Islamic curriculum in elementary schools. That's the goal, is to take America from inside out.
Okay.
In every college, in every university, there are a culture department called Department of Culture.
Yes.
But in fact,
cultural
it's Islamic.
Studies.
Cultural study. In fact, it is Islamic study. The money comes from Saudi Arabia, and they offer colleges, to adopt those kind of department to reach out to Islam. Look to university camps. It has a lot of Muslims. They have table, they have Quran, they're spreading Islam in our campuses. In my perspective, Christians need to be challenged by this and to start reaching out to Muslim. They need to go even to mosques and talk with Muslim about Jesus, in a nice way, building bridges, and like Dick and John said, to start protecting us from this agenda. And I know our Constitution gives freedom and of religion and speech and all of this, and you have already 15 million Muslims in your own backyard.
15 million.
15 million.
Okay.
You need to focus on those people here, how you reach out to them.
Should we, Dick, stop more Muslims from coming into this country?
I happen to be one that would like to see us, not just Muslims. I don't know that, I'm not sure when the vetting process, whatever that is, which would take forever, but I'm not sure if deceiving is an acceptable thing, then I'm sure that the bad guys can figure out better ways to get around what we do. I would love to see us slow the whole thing down. In other words, I'm not sure if it's a wall or what it is, but that we slow that thing down. There's a game called Risk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, the first time I played Risk with my son, he absolutely crushed me. Well, I didn't know how to play the game, but what he did is he loaded up on one country, and then he just blew right past me, and then loaded up in the next country and blew right past me. I'm all over the place, and he's just systematically, and that's the vision I have right now. So personally, I would like to see us slow this thing down with anybody that's coming in here, where it's coming from Salvador, or, you know, it just doesn't matter to me. Slow this thing down and get our head on. And as far as the humanity effort, it seems to me we could do some things with them in their own area over there. Maybe we force Saudi Arabia to finally do something and call their bluff here a little bit, and spend our money there. Protect this country till we. So no, that's it.
John, what are your thoughts on that?
Aaron, I wanted to add before John about they come here with their own problem to America.
Right.
They can't control themselves in their own country. And this is what we need to understand. You know, you can't bring them and let them live Islam here. Because Islam is a problem in Middle East.
Okay.
Islam divided Middle East.
Okay.
Islam is killing people in Middle East. Now, if you bring them here with Islam, you are killing yourself here, you know, and you bring yourself to a big problem.
Can we outlaw Islam here?
Exactly.
John,
That's the question we need to focus on. You know, it's not the people itself, because most of refugees, when they come, they like the country, they like, you know, the liberal Muslim. But the problem with the leader of Muslim, who divided Middle East, who destroyed Middle East, everything in Middle East today, it's because of Islam.
We have a process that must be followed to become a citizen of this country. And one of the things that you do when you swear in to be a citizen of this country is you swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Now, from what I understand of Islam, that is not in support of the Constitution of the United States. So therefore, we have to stop Islam here. Now, the Muslim faith, the Muslim religion, yes, we have in our Constitution to allow for freedom of religion. And I believe that that's possible. However, we need to have anybody that's interested in coming to this country go through a proper vetting process. And there are Christian churches in some of these regions. I think that would be a great place to start. Have the churches vet these people. And if they have no contact with the church whatsoever, then put it on the individual families that are trying to immigrate here or become refugees here and eventually immigrate here. Put it on them. Make it their responsibility.
John said we have freedom of religion.
Yes.
Now, if you give Islam freedom, that's you open the door for yourself for many things can happen.
Right.
But I agree, they do have to swear an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
They did.
So if that...
They did, but they're deceptors.
But in the same thing, they're bombing you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, because their faith, they believe.
And those that are involved in something like that should be deported immediately.
Yeah, but it's too late. They bomb us already.
Yeah.
You know, deporting 1 or 2 is not the problem. They killed 14. They killed hundreds in 9/11. You have 5,000, you know.
So again, I think we should do as we're suggesting, slow down that process. Don't allow them in until they can be properly vetted.
Okay. Well, Donald Trump a few months ago made the comment that all Muslims should be prevented from coming to this country. Would you agree with that, Dick?
I work in the Hispanic area, and we have people renting a dining room space, a floor, maybe a space of 8 feet by 8 feet, and they're paying $400 a month. If you have that many people living in one facility, what are you breeding? So to me, rather than worrying totally about the fact that it's Muslim or it's anything else, personally, I think we ought to be dealing with the fact that we have no place to put these people that come over here, and so now we're breeding a situation that can't be healthy for anybody living there. And they don't, they can't get jobs, on and on and on. Need to slow it down and let things catch up.
From 1924 to 1965, immigration into this country was very limited, okay? In fact, immigration from Arab countries and the Eastern countries, China, Japan, those countries, was totally none. It was null and void. And then other countries, it was based on a percentage, 2 or 3% of the population of that country that was already here. Should we reenact those laws?
Well, let's go back to a Hispanic lady asked me who I was going to vote for. And I said, I told her I'm going to vote for Trump.
Right.
And she said, well, I'm not speaking to you anymore because he's going to do this and that for the Mexicans. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. What made you think that it's about the Mexicans? We've got a whole world that's trying to get in here. We've got more than just you folks to deal with. I do not think that we have to pick on the Muslims as the problem. I think we can look at our overall immigration picture and just say, from a health standpoint, we need to slow it.
And we need a new government, really.
Well, amen to that.
I can't argue that either.
You need a godly government and godly leaders. They have heart and passion. People understanding Islam, very good. There is no politically correct concept. They just face it, face Islam. This is what we have on the table. Those what people, even they coming and they study here, they took good degree, doctor.
Can we support banning or limiting the number of people that come to this country and yet comply with our service to God and be loving, compassionate, and caring?
Infidel. 8 months in solitary confinement. Interrogated. The story of honor. The story of amazing love. The story of resurrection. This is a traitor to Islam.
How much scripture is devoted to false doctrine?
A lot of it.
Okay, so is that the same God that is espousing us to love and the other things?
It is.
Okay, so to me, he's calling for us to be very discerning with those that we're involved with.
Going through our immigration process the way it was intended, from 1920s up until 65, there was very strict, regimented types of requirements. And why aren't we using that? We should use the same thing. Our government gives us, our laws provide us, rather than our government, our laws provide us with a way to properly vet anybody that wants to come into this country, and we need to, we're a nation of laws. If we don't do that.
We need a government that will enforce the laws.
And be careful of saying government, we need new leadership. We definitely need new leadership. It's, our government is the way it is, but it needs to be new leadership that follows godly principles, based on our founding fathers, the Constitution, in other words. We need somebody that's going to hold to the Constitution.
Why Saudi Arabia does not open their gates to those refugees from Syria?
Why?
Just I'm asking the question. They are the passionate Muslim nation. people, 3 million go to Saudi Arabia every year to perform the pilgrimage.
Yes.
And Saudi Arabia has a ton of money. Why Saudi Arabia king does not allow refugees to his country?
Maybe that's the answer.
You know?
Direct all the refugees
Exactly.
there.
Yeah. You know, Kuwait, the Gulf countries, they have the money and they speak Arabic and they can deal with the issue, but they not allow those refugees to come. Why? The question why? Because they know the culture. They know what will happen if those come in at their land.
Okay.
You see? And the other thing, Saudi Arabia are firm with no churches.
Right.
Don't build churches.
Yes.
Why? Because they know Christian will reach out to Muslim. Then another thing I'm thinking of, don't give any more permission for mosques to be built on the United States.
Amen.
There is no mosque. You are coming as a refugees. We support you. The government paying you from their own money. We raise your kids in our school. We're feeding them if you are a poor person. We're giving them you monthly support in school. Then you don't need to go to mosque. You can worship your Allah in your home. That's a personal relationship. It's exactly like Saudi Arabia did.
Yes.
You know, they said no church.
Right.
You know, same thing. We need to say those mosques can hurt our community and our land, you know. And I didn't say, you know, we try to stop Muslims from prayers, but you can pray at your home. No prayer in the street.
Right.
Because that's what they did in France and England and here in Detroit. They block streets, you know. The law need to be straight law. You know, overall, you know, Christian not allowed to pray in the street.
Right.
You know. But we need to control and make some new laws, you know, for Muslim and for all nations coming here.
Yeah.
But we need to think with their own mentality.
Yeah.
You know.
So with that in mind, Daniel, we just have a very short period of time left here, just less than a minute. What would you recommend that a Muslim in the Middle East or anybody in the Middle East that wants to come here in order to get away from Islam, what would you recommend for them?
You know, if they wanted to get, we need to have reference. He need to go to a church there.
Okay.
You know, meet with the pastors there.
Okay.
Because they are both Arabs.
Yes.
You know, and he can tell if this guy is really using that he will be a Christian to flee here. You know, you need to get 2-3 reference, and it's happening. I can't hire you unless you give me a reference, right?
Can somebody, a Muslim in the Middle East, stay in the Middle East and become a Christian and swear off Islam? Would that solve our problem?
If they can stay Muslim.
Can they accept Christ
over there?
Yeah, if they can.
No,
if they can give up Islam.
Countries.
If they can give up
not
Islam.
in all countries, but
No.
there is a chance they will be killed.
Okay.
But my idea, if he became a Christian, he go to church now. You need to contact his church pastor and talk with them and put him for a period of maybe 3 years.
Okay.
You know, in 3 years, you can tell this person if he growing in Christianity, if he go to church, you know, and this way you at least you're having a good chance that this person is safe to come here, even for Muslim convert, you know, because they can use our Muslim convert to come here and have their own agenda, you know. Is that answering the question or no?
It is. It's one, definitely one solution.
But we need to be restricted to interview those people, but even Christian in embassies. We need to hire Christians pastors.
Okay.
You know, for such people like that in embassies. And there is Christian everywhere. I remember when I came to America, you know, and there is a funny story happened. You know, they test me if I'm a Christian or not in the embassy.
Oh.
in Italy. And the lady was in the front. She was a Catholic. She denied my green card because I told her I was in prison for 8 months. She told me, "Oh, you are in prison? No, no, we didn't accept people." I said, "But I was for Christ."
Yeah.
She is a Catholic. She didn't understand. She said, "No, no, no, no," and she refused my visa. You know, and I went second day, and I told her, "Can I speak with someone else?" And they brought a Christian lady, and she started testing me in the Bible.
Uh-huh.
And I started answering her question. And she told her, "No, he is a Christian."
Okay.
And they changed my visa and they approved my green card.
Well, good. I'm glad that they did.
Yeah. But you
We
see,
all are.
that's what kind, and this was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and I really appreciate what the Catholic lady did, because she afraid that, you know, I might be a liar
Right.
and sneaking to the country.
Yes.
You know, same thing. We need to go to the basic. What is the basic we use?
Go back to the basics.
Yeah, you need to interview them. If he said, "I'm Christian," okay, wait for 3 years, and then investigate his faith, and connect him to a pastor working in Middle East, working with us, and we have that now. Now we have people from Iraq working with the government.
Uh-huh.
They understand Iraqi, they understand Chaldean, they understand because of ISIS.
Yes.
We need to start building very smart, intelligent in Arabic, in Iranian, and all kinds of language. But don't just bring them. Yeah, you know, that I love to see them because I love Muslim is still my family. Sure. But the problem is with what's happening, you know, any one wrong decision, you bring him here, he will bomb hundreds.
Yes.
You know, and it hurt even the good Muslim.
It's a tough problem to deal with.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. And with that, we need to wrap things up. I want to say a special thanks to our viewers today. Thank you for being here. Please join us next week for another episode of A Conversation with America. And again, take the opportunity to read Daniel's story, The Traitor. And you can get it online at Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble or any other online booksellers. Thank you all very much. Have a very blessed week, and may God bless you always.